All right, y'all ain't know how Steppin with Marcus J is live. We are in the building, getting ready, of course, to have another fabulous show, the flagship show, right here live from the Dana Legacy Internet Radio. We're excited to have the return of our special guest, featured guest of the night, our sister Charlene Hoskins. She is the founder and CEO of the Property Adjustment Specialist, now known as TPAS. We got a full crew in the building. We're going to ask about what's going on with these Trump rallies. There was some more stuff that went on this weekend. We're going to talk a little bit about what the Senate Majority Leader said that needs to be done with regards to the confirmation of the Supreme Court Justice, and who he said needs to be in line with the confirmation may actually blow your mind, because it blew mine. And Adam LaRoche. Last week, Adam LaRoche, baseball player, retired. He retired because the team did not want his 14-year-old son to be in the locker room all the time, and he gave up $13 million for his son. Was that a smart move? We're going to talk about it. The whole crew is in the building, and we got the show for you here live tonight. And you know how Steppin with Marcus J is right now.
Open your ears, strap on your thinking cap. Socially conscious talk that's entertaining with a dash of humor and the top sports stories of the week. It's time for Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J.
Sellers has Jordan. Jordan with 2 seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago. Manning lobs it. Burris alone. Touchdown, New York.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. He hits one deep to right center. That ball is out of here. The Yankees win the pennant.
If they lying, then they must be half stepping. And you know how Steppin with Marcus J is live. We in the building. We appreciate you being in the building with us. Give us a call at 804-402-2893. Be part of the flagship show, heard live from the den right here at Legacy Internet Radio. Thanking our listeners right now listening to us live on TuneIn. Thanking our listeners listening to us live on Streamer. You got your iPhone, your iPad, you've got your Android, your computer, whatever method you use to listen to us. We thank you. Thank you to those folks that are listening to the replays right now on YouTube in podcast form, as well as those folks listening to the replays on iTunes, because y'all rock with us every single week. We roll with y'all every single week. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial to be a part of tonight's discussion. We appreciate our sponsors, Free Spirit Enterprises and Live Action Captions. You'll hear a word from each of them as we progress throughout the night. Definitely happy to get the discussion started here tonight. We've got a crew that's going to be joining you guys momentarily. However, I'm definitely excited to bring you the very first segment here. A little excited, so please bear with me. But ain't no ass stepping with Marcus J, live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. And as I mentioned to you, we definitely are very happy and honored and proud to have rejoining us here on the airwaves of Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J. The sister joined us a couple of months ago. We're definitely happy to have her rejoin us. She is the founder of the Property Adjustment Specialist. She is our sister, Miss Charlene Brown now Hoskins. What's going on, sister?
What's going on? How you doing, Marcus? It's good to talk to you again.
Yes. Definitely glad to hear from you. You know, when we talked a couple months ago, you know, I think we developed a rapport where I said, girl, you got something going on. You better call me and let me know so we can talk about it.
Definitely.
Now, the Property Adjustment Specialist, we talked about it, but for the new listeners, Why don't you tell us what you do at the Property Adjustment Specialist? What is it?
Okay, well, just to give a brief summary, the Property Adjustment Specialist, which is what we now have dubbed as TPAS, LLC, just to make it a little shorter for people and catchier. What we are is we are a property and casualty insurance education firm. Our goal is basically to make the insurance claims process more transparent for all parties involved, whether you're a homeowner or a contractor or an agent or an adjuster. And I founded this and came up with this concept because I am a former insurance claims adjuster. I do say former because I have now gone full-time into the property adjustment specialist. So that's what we're here for. And right now what we're focusing on is the training of the most important party, I think, in this process, which is the adjuster, because the education of the adjuster is key in being able to handle those claims more efficiently and properly, of course, so that the homeowner has the best person on the job and, of course, the best outcome for their claims experience.
Right. Now, I know the last time we talked this winter, you told me that you had something that was coming up in the spring and that we'd be talking again, and that is coming up really soon, the Independent Adjuster Life Symposium that is coming up the first week in April. Why don't you tell us what you got going on there?
Yes, we started to do because we realized that it was important to educate existing adjusters, but we also realized that the career of adjusting is just absolutely awesome. And no, we're not biased at all when we say that.
Not at all. Not at all.
But we just really enjoy what we do so much. We think it's an excellent opportunity for anybody out there who is looking for basically a career where you can utilize your talents, get paid good money while doing it, and feel really appreciated, especially if you have a spirit for helping people. And so what we're doing now with the Independent Adjuster Life Symposium, it's basically a free information session for anybody who wants to come to and just learn about what it takes to be an independent insurance claims adjuster. And we don't just limit it to independent adjusting. We even give just a little information about being a staff adjuster too. So you are more than welcome to come and get that information and say, you know what, that independent life sounds really cool, but right now I'm at home with kids, I'm married, or whatever the case may be. I can't travel all over the country. I want to just get this information, become an adjuster, get my license, and then work permanently for an insurance carrier. You are more than welcome to do that. And so we actually have a panel of speakers who also participate in the symposium, and they're there they present just a little bit about their background, and they're there to answer any questions that anyone may have. And those people are individuals who we have personally trained and mentored, helped to get those first jobs, those first deployments, and now they're off and running. They're desired. They're one of the top people in their area or for the companies that they work for, and they just basically just giving back and giving that information to anybody who would like it and would appreciate to have it. And so the next Independent Adjuster Life Symposium that we have coming up, it is going to be Saturday, April 2nd, 2016, of course. That is going to be in St. Louis, Missouri at the Hampton Inn in Westport. And that's on 2454 Old Dorset Road in Maryland Heights, Missouri, 63043. It starts at 9 a.m. and we only do it for 4 hours. We don't want to take up your whole Saturday with it. And it goes from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And so when it's all over, you'll have a packet of information. You'll be able to talk to, of course, myself, my partner, who is also my mother, the wonderful and talented Deborah Johnson. And you just get to pick our brains, and you get to do it for free. So it's pretty cool. So if anybody's interested in signing up for it, we do have on our website, which is tpas.us. If you go to that website and there's a tab there that says IA Symposium, you click on that, scroll to the bottom, and we have where you can get your RSVP free ticket from Eventbrite, and that's how you sign up.
Right. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. live from the Den of Legacy Internet Radio. We're talking to our sister Charlene Hoskins. She is the founder of TPAS.LLC. And I got a question that I want to ask you. first of all, I want you before I ask that question, you mentioned your mom. First of all, hey mom, I hope you're listening. I remember you telling me, telling our listeners the last time we had you on how you were able to found this great company and organization in part with mom. Tell that story a little bit about how mom was instrumental in the having you decide that this is something that you wanted to do.
Oh, wow. Well, it all pretty much started off with a small idea, which is pretty much how I guess every great business starts off, right? Well, when we actually became adjusters, it was in 2005 after Hurricane Katrina. We pretty much did not have any prior adjusting experience at all. And pretty much what happened was, as probably people rumored to hear, Marcus B, can you hear that? I'm sorry. Can you hear that background noise?
No, I don't hear much of any. I think we're fine.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Well, basically, what happened was pretty much what some people had rumored to hear. Katrina had hit. It had affected so many people across so many states that they didn't have enough adjusters, independent or staff, to handle the claims. And so they were pretty much hiring people off the street. And we were one of those people. So what happened, my aunt heard through the grapevine that a company, independent adjusting firm by the name of Pilot Catastrophe Services, was hiring people. And she basically got her information in, and they called her to come in. And my mother did the same, and they called her to come in. And at the time, I was actually working as a union organizer for the Texas State Employees Union. And if anybody knows anything about Texas, it's like oil and water. It's unions and Texas, it does not mix. So I got a call. I liked my job, but I wanted something more. And my mother gave me a call and said, hey, I've been down here, and they kind of gave me some advance money, and it's pretty good. And I've only been down here about 3 to 4 days, and they just gave me $1,200 for advance. I said, what? I need in on that. And so pretty much I dropped everything and put my application in, waited for the call, got the call, and rushed down to Mobile, Alabama. That's how we became adjusters. And what happened was about 4 or 5 years in, when 2011 came around, I was talking to her because somebody had came to me and said, man, have you ever thought about writing a book? My mentor, actually, Lorenzo Jackson of the Property Adjusting Academy, shout out to Lorenzo, he came to me and he said, have you ever thought about writing a book? He had watched me work, and by this time I had become like a supervisor. I had been a team lead. I had did a little training, and he saw that I was really good at it. And so I said, no, but heck, I'll give it a try. And that's where You're an Adjuster Now What came from, the first thing that came out of TPAS. And I put that out there, put it out on Amazon. People seem to really like it. And so I thought, man, I would love to do this training thing kind of full time. You know, I really enjoy it. I enjoy teaching people. I love to see the growth in people when they learn new information. And at that moment, my mother was actually an expert, what we call the contents adjuster, and that's basically where you handle personal property claim damage, and that's anything that's pretty much in your house when you take the roof off and turn the building upside down that would fall out. All of your furnishings, your furniture, your beds and linens and couches and TVs, and she actually became really good at it in her journey as an adjuster and was actually a contents manager. And so I went to her and I said, what do you think about us teaching adjusters how to do contents claims? And she said, well, let me see. So we called up a couple of adjusters and we said, hey, if there was a class teaching you guys how to handle contents, which is one of those areas in insurance that adjusters really don't like because it's very meticulous and detailed. And all of them said, oh, heck yeah, we'd be ready for it. Let's do it. And that was basically the beginning of it. And so we said, okay, let's do it. We're going to teach a contents class. So at that time, she was living in St. Louis, Missouri. I was living in Dallas, Texas. And between, different programs like TeamViewer and conference calls, and we put our curriculum together, and the rest is history. And it's so cool because when we first started off in Katrina, we reported to a hotel in Mobile, Alabama. It was so vast that they didn't even have an office for everybody to report to. They just pretty much rented out a hotel with all the conference rooms. And when we first started, we were training in this one room, And when we did our very first contest class, we actually did it back in Mobile, Alabama at the very same hotel in the very same room where we started. So that was just everything coming full circle. Right. So I am just so grateful to have my mother as a support system, to have her believe in me and also be my business partner. I could not have asked for a better person to do this with me. Right. She's just absolutely awesome, and I could not have asked for a better person. I think anybody who knows her, Deborah Johnson, if I didn't say her name before, anybody who knows her and had crossed paths with her would definitely agree that she is probably one of the most awesome people that you would ever meet.
You know, I give you a little piece of Marcus J trivia. That's also my mom's name, Deborah Johnson. So.
Oh, are you serious?
Absolutely. When you mentioned it to me the last time we talked, I didn't mention it to you then, but I figured I'd mention it to you. So that makes us kin in a very spiritual way. I appreciate that. And,
wow.
You know how Steppin with Marcus J, live from the Dan Legacy Internet Radio. Now, what I think is really cool is, Mom was based in St. Louis. You're being based in Texas. Obviously, you guys came together and you created this business, obviously with the knowledge that you gained kind of working through it together. And I think that's just awesome, first of all. And you end up writing the book. And I think that is awesome as well. And before we wrap up, I want you to give the information on the book again for anybody that that wants to purchase the book from you. But you're doing something also in Texas with the All Lines pre-licensing course coming up in May. Tell us about that one.
Okay, so we talked about the Independent Adjuster Life Symposium, right? So maybe you go to that and you're saying, oh, man, I'm on board. I want to be an adjuster. Now what do I do next, right? Well, right after that, we have a Texas All Lines Adjuster pre-licensing course that we offer. And what we're doing right now is that we're offering it in St. Louis, Missouri. And it's because a lot of adjuster course classes are offered in popular places like Texas. There's a lot of independent adjusting firms and insurance companies stationed out of there. But the Midwest area kind of doesn't get all of that love. And we thought it would be a good idea to offer it to them. And so the next one that's coming up is after the symposium. It's actually May the 13th through May the 15th. It's a 3-day course. It's 8 hours each day. And we offer it in St. Louis, Missouri. It'll be at the same location at that Hampton Inn in St. Louis, Westport. And that's basically where you get your licensing. That's your first step in becoming an adjuster. And the reason why you say, well, wait a minute, why is it a Texas All Lines Adjuster's license being offered in Missouri? Well, just really quick education on this. In order to be an adjuster, you have to be licensed, right? Well, you have to be licensed in a state that offers adjuster's license. Hopefully that state is the state that you live in. But if it's not the state that you live in, if your state does not offer a license for adjusting, then you have to get it in a state that you're not a resident of. The reason why we do Texas is because the state of Missouri, as of right now, hopefully they don't listen to this and say, ooh, we could offer adjuster's licenses. But the state of Missouri actually does not issue out adjuster's licenses. So you have to go to another state. And the cool thing about the state of Texas is that once you are licensed through the state of Texas, there are several other states that offer state licensing that basically say, you know what, we trust the state of Texas licensing system and their curriculum. And because of that, we're not going to make you, if you have a Texas license, we're not going to make you have to go through another pre-licensing course and testing process through our states to get our license. All you have to do is show us your Texas license or give us your Texas license number, pay our application fee, and fill out our application, and we will issue you a license for our state. And so we have, I think there are, if I got my numbers right, there are about 34 states out of the 50 that require adjuster licenses in order to do claims in their states. The other ones, they do not. So you don't have to have a license to do claims there, but you do have to be a licensed adjuster. And so of those 34, I think, if I have it right, maybe 23 of them now have that set up with Texas, where they say, okay, if you're Texas licensed, all you have to do is fill out our application and pay our application fee, and we will give you our state license as well. And so that's why we're starting with Texas to do that licensing, because it's most beneficial for everyone. If you are in a state, which that does not require or does not issue adjuster license. And so the cool thing about doing it in St. Louis is the state of Missouri does not issue adjuster's license. Neither does the state of Illinois, Kansas, and there's a couple of other ones that surround that area. So it's a good, if you're in any of those states and you want to get your adjuster's license, I suggest you come to our Texas All Lines adjuster's class in May 13th through the 15th in St. Louis, Missouri.
Right. And I'll have Steppin with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. We're talking to our sister Charlene Hoskins about TPAS LLC, and we're talking about the Independent Adjuster Life Symposium in April, as well as the Texas All Lines pre-licensing course in May. What I would definitely want to talk to you about, now this is the part that I've been kind of most excited to ask you about, and that's the YouTube channel that's is out there, or is it coming? Tell us about YouTube.
Okay, so one of the things that TPAS is all about, and this is what is most important to me, and this is why I do all of this. I don't just train people, I also believe in mentoring them. When we started doing this 10 years ago, we didn't know anything about anything. We had to we had to network, we had to get to know people, we had to dig and dive to find different information in order to be better at our jobs. And I believe that in doing this and bringing new people into this industry, I think that it's very beneficial for them, and it makes me feel good about myself in order to impart that information, as much information as I can, and as many resources that I can make available to them. So basically, TPAS TV is just another division of that. That's our YouTube channel, and that's what I've dubbed it, TPAS TV. And basically what it's here for is to give, anytime you want to just kind of log in or say, I need some tips, I need some hints, I need some help on something. Maybe you need to learn how to get up on a roof properly. Maybe you need to, and actually what we're doing now, what we just released recently was tips on how to do your taxes, what receipts to hold. Because if you're going to be an independent contractor, if you're going to be an independent adjuster, you're an independent contractor now. So it's like you're your own business owner. You need to keep track of those receipts, so that when you go to file your taxes, that you're doing everything properly, so that you don't end up owing the government, all this money, which I think a lot of adjusters, I'm a victim of this myself, who didn't know how things worked coming into this and didn't know how the money works and your expenses, how that works, ended up having to pay the government a whole lot of money that I probably didn't really owe in the beginning, because I wasn't claiming all of the things that I was spending, because I didn't know that I could claim it. And so that's basically what TPAS TV is there for. It's just another tool to educate yourself and empower yourself on how to be better at your job. And it's not just about, doing the job right, but then also on the back end, like what we're doing with the taxes, is making sure that you're taken care of too. Because if you make all this money and then you didn't claim what you're supposed to claim and you're not deducting things properly, and you end up having to pay all this money, you might give up on it. Right. You might say, this isn't for me. I don't understand the point of why everybody's saying we can make all this money if I'm essentially paying a lot of it back, at the end of the year. And so the interview that we had most recently was with Mr. Monterio Patman of Patman Accounting Services. He actually has his bachelor and his master's in accounting. He actually was a former, no shade on, the Jackson Hewitts or the H&R Blocks out there, but those are tax preparers. And there is a difference between a tax preparer and somebody who has like their bachelor's and master's in accounting and who is an actual tax consultant. And so he knows a lot more about the ins and outs of those tax laws and what can be deducted and how these different forms work. Because if you're like me, taxes is like rocket science to me. I just don't get it. It's complicated. All these numbers are thrown around. You got all these different forms. You got 1040 this and W2. I don't get it. And I don't know how it's filed, and I don't know how it's done. And I would just prefer to hone in on the things that are my strong point and let somebody else who has that as their strong point figure that stuff out. And he is actually my personal accountant as well, and my personal tax consultant. And before I got to him, every year I was going to like an H&R Block, and they were saying, okay, you owe $2,000. you owe $3,000. And about $10,000 in, I was like, okay, something's got to give. I don't understand, because I'm spending all this money on hotels and gas and eating out because I'm all the way out of town. So what's going on to where what I'm spending isn't being reflected in my taxes?
Right,
and so that's when I decided to get with him. And coincidentally, like I say, I always believe in supporting the resources that are available to me. Mr. Monterio Patman is also my cousin. And that's just another thing that we do. We support, our inner circle. We support the ones that we love. And that's what you're supposed to do. That's what this is all about. I'm a small business. He's a small business. And small business is really what makes our country great. Everybody started somewhere. Right. Even the biggest of companies started somewhere small. And this is what it's all about. So that's what I like to do. Just as I encourage my students, I transfer that same mentality in everything else that I do.
Right.
That's what TPAS TV is about. So hopefully you guys will tune in, and I'll have more videos coming. I'm doing my best to try to have something at least once a week or once every 2 weeks, just a few times a month. Anything that I think that will help experienced or new adjusters become better. Right.
I'm definitely glad to hear you say that, because one of the big things that I've always been a strong proponent of here on Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J, as well as the larger entity, which is Legacy Internet Radio, is that each one teach one. You push me, I pull you. That's kind of a phrase from one of my radio mentors, and I think it's very important that we utilize that mentality, because the truth of the matter is a lot of the other entities and successful organizations do that. They take care of each other. They take care of one another. They bring each other along. If I've seen some things that you can benefit from, I have no issue with showing you. I always kind of scoff at folks, to utilize a kind of a family thing. If I got a recipe, I have no problem showing you. Why wouldn't I want to show you the recipe the food tastes good? So why wouldn't I want to show you? You know what I mean? So I like the fact that you said that, because it's very, very important to not only the business that you have, but to businesses overall. Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J, live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. All right, in closing, I want you to tell me one more time how they can get the book, and then I want you to tell us who you are and where they could get your information.
Okay, you can get my book, and it's called You're an Adjuster, Now What? You can get that on Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. And what that is that's the Inside Adjuster Guide. So if you are a new adjuster and you've gone to all these trainings and you learned all this great stuff, and now you are about to get that first deployment and you're getting kind of stuck because you can't remember what you're supposed to do or how you're supposed to do it, that is the purpose of that book. It's not very long. Doesn't have a lot to it. I've broken it down to layman's terms to make it easy. I could have pontificated all throughout it and made it 30 pages, but what good is that going to do? Let's just keep it simple. And so that's my book. I am Charlene Hoskins, CEO and president and founder of TPAS LLC, formerly known as the Property Adjustment Specialist. If you would like to reach out and contact me, please feel free to do so. You can reach me directly at our office line, which is 877-466-6698. My extension is 101. You want to pick my brain? Go ahead and do so. I am here and ready to help you out. If you want to visit our website and learn a little bit more about the other courses that we offer and the other opportunities that we have, such as our Independent Adjuster Life Symposium, our website is T as in Tom, P as in Paul, A as in Apple, S as in Sam.us.
Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J, live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. That was our sister Charlene Hoskins. Charlene, hold the line for just a moment. We're going to take a break. Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J, live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. And when we come back, we got more of the show. They're going to introduce the crew, and we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff that you don't want to miss. Marcus J, Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J. Be back in a few.
Yo, this is your boy, Mr. 3375. Welcome to Legacy Internet Radio, where independence is the key to building your legacy. www.legacyinternetradio.com.